Ho Chi Minh is a legendary figure in the history of Vietnam and one of the most iconic leaders of the 20th century. He played a significant role in the Vietnam War and was instrumental in the establishment of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. His life was full of twists and turns, and his journey from a young man with humble beginnings to becoming the most beloved and respected leader of his country is nothing short of extraordinary. Ho Chi Minh was born Nguyen Sinh Cung on May 19, 1890, in Hien Province, in central Vietnam. He was the youngest of 3 children in a poor family, and his father was a Confucian scholar. Despite being poor, his family valued education and made sure that Ho Chi Minh received an education. At the age of 10, he left his hometown to study in a Confucian school in Hue, the imperial capital of Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh was an intelligent and curious student, and he excelled in his studies. He was particularly interested in history and politics, and he developed a keen interest in the struggle for Vietnamese independence. At the age of 21, he left Vietnam for the first time to work as a cook on a French steamship, and it was during this time that he began to develop his revolutionary ideas. In 1917, Ho Chi Minh moved to France to study and became involved in the political movement for Vietnamese independence. He founded the Revolutionary Youth League, which later became the Vietnamese Communist Party. In 1924, he attended the 5th Congress of the Comintern, the International Organization of Communist Parties, and became a full member of the Communist Party. Ho Chi Minh spent much of the 1920s and 1930s in exile, traveling between Europe, the Soviet Union, China, and Southeast Asia. He continued to work towards the goal of Vietnamese independence, and in 1941, he returned to Vietnam and founded the Viet Minh, the Vietnamese independence movement. During World War II, Japan occupied Vietnam, and the Viet Minh fought against the Japanese. When the war ended in 1945, Ho Chi Minh declared Vietnam's independence and became the first president of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. However, France, which had colonized Vietnam, did not recognize Vietnam's independence and tried to re-establish control over the country. The First Indochina War began in 1946, with the Viet Minh fighting against the French. Ho Chi Minh was the leader of the Viet Minh and became the face of the resistance. Despite being outmatched and outgunned, the Viet Minh fought a determined guerrilla war against the French. In 1954, after 8 years of fighting, the French were defeated at the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, and the Geneva Accords were signed, which divided Vietnam into a communist north and a non-communist south. Ho Chi Minh became the leader of North Vietnam, and he continued to work towards the reunification of Vietnam. In 1960, he launched a campaign to overthrow the government of South Vietnam, and the Vietnam War began. The war lasted for more than a decade, and it was one of the most brutal and destructive conflicts of the 20th century. Despite the challenges of the war, Ho Chi Minh remained a popular and respected leader in Vietnam. He was seen as a symbol of Vietnamese independence and nationalism, and his commitment to socialism and communism inspired many people around the world. Ho Chi Minh died on September 2, 1969, at the age of 79, but his legacy lives on in Vietnam and around the world. Ho Chi Minh was a remarkable leader and a hero of Vietnamese independence. His journey from a young man with humble beginnings to becoming the leader of his country is an inspiring story of courage and determination. He dedicated his life to the cause of Vietnamese independence and fought tirelessly to achieve it. His unwavering determination and commitment to his ideals inspired a generation of Vietnamese people to stand up against foreign domination and fight for their freedom. Ho Chi Minh's legacy is not just limited to Vietnam but extends to the entire world. His leadership and political philosophy have had a profound impact on the socialist and communist movements around the world. He was a tireless champion of the oppressed and the downtrodden and believed in the power of the people to bring about change. Despite facing countless obstacles and challenges, Ho Chi Minh never gave up on his dreams. He remained committed to his cause until his last breath and left behind a legacy that continues to inspire people around the world. His unwavering commitment to freedom and justice will always be remembered, and his name will forever be associated with the struggle for Vietnamese independence and the fight against colonialism and imperialism. When the prison doors are opened, the real dragon will fly out. This quote by Ho Chi Minh highlights his belief in the power of the people to bring about change. He believed that the oppressed and marginalized, once freed from their chains, would rise up and take control of their destiny. It is better to be killed than to be a slave. This quote shows Ho Chi Minh's commitment to Vietnamese independence and his willingness to fight for it, even if it meant sacrificing his life. He believed that freedom was worth fighting and dying for. The most important thing is to unite the people to liberate the country and serve the people. This quote emphasizes Ho Chi Minh's belief in the power of unity and collective action. He believed that only through the unity of the people could the country be liberated and the needs of the people be served. Nothing is more precious than independence and freedom. This quote highlights the importance that Ho Chi Minh placed on independence and freedom. He believed that these were the most valuable things a nation could possess, and he was willing to do whatever it took to secure them for his people. The Vietnamese people deeply love independence, freedom, and peace. But at any time, they are always ready to sacrifice everything, including their lives, to safeguard their independence and freedom. This quote shows the deep love that Ho Chi Minh had for his people and their desire for independence and freedom. He believed that the Vietnamese people were willing to sacrifice everything to achieve their goals and that they would never back down in the face of adversity. We appreciate your support in watching our videos. If you enjoy learning about political, business, and science leaders' biographies and quotes, please consider subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up to help us grow and continue bringing you valuable content.